Hi, so here we have an instance of vLLM. You can see we've got 4 replicas running here, and we have a Grafana dashboard just showing things like cache hit rates and so on. So we're just going to kick off a quick job that's going to simulate a multi-turn sort of chat with multiple users, simulating, you can see here as some messages come through. What it's going to simulate is sending in some sort of large documents. It could be large code, examples of code, could be large Markdown files, and it's going to ask the model to make suggestions and have a conversation with the model about those documents. And each time, as in a multi-turn chat, each time those prompts go back to the model, there's going to be a lot of context that's going to be reused. So it should really start to take advantage of things like KV cache and those kind of things. So you can see it here. It's doing multiple different turns. So each time it gets a response, it then asks another question like, can you elaborate? Can you add more information? And you can see we're starting to get some KV cache hit rates coming through now. Now, because this is vLLM, it's using sort of naive load balancing. It's basically randomly directing those prompts back to one of those replicas. So we're not getting a huge amount of cache hit rates so far. We're down about 18% or so. So most of these responses, most of these prompts coming in, are hitting pods that haven't seen that context before, and so therefore it's taking a lot of compute in order to process those. So you can see we're still around 32% now hit rate on those. So let's just see where we are now with the turn. So we're on turn 4. So we're about halfway through, and we're hitting about 30% hit rate. So we're going to let this run now, and we're actually going to speed this up and come back. We can see now we've just jumped forward. We're on 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. So we're coming to the end of our 10-turn conversation, and we're still processing. You see, we're still only at about 50% or so of cache hit rates. So, at least, half of those prompts are coming in and they're having to be recomputed. And you can see there's still quite a lot of jumps there on the time to first token responses coming back through the dashboard as well. So we're just coming to the end of this process. Again, you can still we're around 55%. So not a great result for KV cache hit rate, and we're just coming to the end of the turns. Each conversation should have 10 turns. So that should complete now in a second, and we can see here now that this is where we start to see the sort of where the naive load balancing starts to have issues. So around this sort of P95, P99, so the tail latency requests are very high. You're looking at sort of 700 milliseconds, and you can see it's quite a spiky view there in the time to first token, so quite erratic, and only about 60% are hitting them. So we've just switched over to llm-d. We've got a fresh deployment again, 4 replicas again, and we're going to hit off the same benchmark. So let's watch the logs on that, and we should see the same initial results coming through, because obviously these pods haven't seen this context before. We'll start to see these meshes coming through, and again it'll start to sort of bounce between the various different pods in the cluster, and then we'll start to get these KV cache hit rates, and this is where you'll see where the prompts have been intelligently routed to the replica that has that context already cached. So we should see this KV cache hit rate now going up significantly faster than we did with the naive load balancing from the vLLM deployment. So we're already up to 43% there now, and we're only a couple of turns in the process. So we're almost at 50% already. So so let's just see where we are in the process now. We should be, so there we are, we're only 2 or 3 turns in. So very early days, but already a huge improvement there in KV cache hit rate. So what we're going to do again, we're going to fast forward again now to where we've got, towards the end. Again, just before we do that, we're at 69% there. So let's fast forward through to, there we go, we're coming up to the end of the turn, so we're on turn 9 and 10 now on these conversations. we're coming to the end of the benchmarking for llm-d, and we're up to nearly 90% KV cache hit rate. So that's a significant improvement. And if you look at the time to first token graph, it's a lot smoother as well. We don't have these sort of spikes, this erratic behavior. So finally, if we look at the results, then we can see quite a difference now on the P95. So it's gone down about 500 milliseconds, which is, you know, a huge drop, and also on the P50 as well. So this is going to make a real difference to users who are starting to see sort of laggy behavior when you know, getting their first token back from their prompts. So this is again where the real difference is made by llm-d by intelligently routing those prompts to those pods that have already cached that context. So thanks for your time.